As the sun begins to set on the city of Greenstown, through the city's streets walks our story's protagonist known as Hack, the impid cowboy. Hack then enters a recreational facility where three gentlemen are playing poker. In previous years, these recreational facilities were known as bars, before the prohibition of course. After the four gentlemen were playing for a moment, two of them become upset and stop playing as they claim that Hack the cowboy is cheating. One of the players attempts to confront Hack about this, but Hack states that he is lying and that they are simply upset that Hack won and took their money. After Hack leaves, another of the players comes back to converse with Camper about what they should do. Hack begins walking back to his apartment through the dark alleys of the city so that he's not questioned by any martial soldiers or guards on his way home. He is quickly stopped in the alley by Camper and Sergio, the two poker players. The two gentlemen state that they want their money back, which of course Hack refuses, stating that he won it fair and square. Camper and Sergio responded that they only wanted their money back, not his life. But if he made them, they would be willing to take both from him. Hack responded by calling Sergio's mother a fat, unruly muffalo. This sparked a bit of anger and a fight ensued. Unfortunately, Hack was stabbed several times. He was unable to defend himself as he was unarmed. He had a pistol, but the marshals had confiscated all the guns from citizens. The two men fled the scene as Hack lay there in the alleyway bleeding. They had left him there to die. After lying there for quite a while, a mysterious stranger came from the shadows of the alleyway, scooped Hack up, and ran off with him. The mysterious stranger approached Hack in the tent as he lay there, recovering from his injuries slowly but surely. Naturally, of course, Hack asked who she was and what was going on. She explained, of course, that her name was Carol and she found him in the alleyway after his stabbing. She also explained that he has an infection, so he might find it hard to stay awake. By this point, they've been traveling for quite a while. Weeks have passed, and Hack has been in and out of consciousness, though his infection does seem to almost be completely gone. Carol continues walking through the soggy, wet ruins of a once great city. She approaches Hack for conversation as she notices that it appears he is almost completely recovered. Hack thanked Carol for saving his life, but he wanted to know why. He said that he's done terrible things and he felt that he deserved to die in that alleyway. Carol explained that she was once a pirate and she too had done such unspeakable acts, but everyone deserves a second chance. Hack then asked her, where were they? Carol explained to him that they were in a city that was once forgotten. This was her father's city, his empire. Carol took Hack to the center of town near her father's tomb to introduce Hack to their traveling companion, a Thromboian named Sherd. Sherd is the daughter of a once great Thromboian chieftain. She and Carol plan on starting their own tribe. Their ambitious idea is to become a massive farming tribe that will take care of the sick and the hungry on the planet. The ongoing war has made life on the planet a living hell for the Thromboian tribes, so they plan on changing that. We named ourselves the Sherdish tribe, or the tribe of Sherd, as it were. But simply calling ourselves the Thromboian tribe is not going to actually make us a legitimate tribe. We need recognition from other tribes. Luckily, on our way to the Stardust Logging Company, Sherd and Carol had already sent word to a local tribe about a bit of a parlay. Now, of course, though, while waiting on that tribe to arrive so that we can discuss, we began our farming empire. Sorta. Everyone starts somewhere, and we're starting with a very small little field that we plan on planting rice in. Not to mention, we are currently living in the ruins of the old logging empire, so most of these buildings are about half burnt down or blown up, so it's going to need spruced up a little bit. But of course, I do have the utmost faith that Hack and his two new companions are going to be able to create a functioning tribe here, and not only that, but a farming empire. The next day, after everyone woke up, Carol began tilling the field so we could finally begin planting our very first rice crops. Now, of course, we do plan on feeding the other Thromboian tribes and the starving and whatnot of the planet, but first we're gonna have to be able to feed ourselves. I also got some good footage of Hack cutting down a tree just outside of their rice field, which actually marks the first time we've seen anyone cut down a tree in the logging empire since the original series, which of course is a very monumental occasion. Now, if you're completely unsure as to what I'm talking about, so this Farming Empire series is actually the 4th series in our RimWorld expanded universe. And you should really go back and watch those other series because we have reoccurring characters, it's all one big shared universe, and it's a whole lot of fun. But if you don't want to do that, there is also a video where I explain everything that has happened before this. But we are now going to begin refurbishing the logging empire. We are starting with the old production building. We're going to turn this into our kitchen slash dining room, mess hall, that kind of thing. It was sometime after this we ended up having a soldier from the RimWorld Marshal Service come to investigate the ruins of the logging empire. Obviously, of course, we're not looking to get into a war with the Marshal Service at this time. If that needs to happen, we can always do that, but right now we're just trying to build our farming empire to take care of Thromboians and the starving people. So instead of engaging with the soldier, we decided that we would try to hide, but unfortunately Carol was having a mental break and was spotted by the soldier, who then began opening fire on us. We took cover in some of the ruins, but unfortunately Hack did not have a ranged weapon, he simply had a knife. So as Sherd began firing at the soldier with her bow and arrow, Hack had the idea that he would try to ambush the soldier from the side. This was actually a pretty good idea, as with it being dark and the rain, he should be able to mask his position and sneak up on the soldier, and luckily for us it seemed to have worked. Hack lit the soldier on fire and then began engaging in hand-to-hand combat with him. Luckily the soldier did not have any melee weapons. Shortly thereafter that, with a little bit of assistance from Sherd, we managed to take the soldier down and we did not kill him. Hack picked up the soldier's pistol and began hovering over him. He had a decision to make. Though the soldier had attacked us first, he was only doing his duty. It's possible that he thought we were rebels. Maybe he would have been friendly towards us if we would have engaged him in another manner. Hack would feel guilty if he killed the soldier, but unfortunately he ended up having to do so. Hack was contemplating his actions out there on the battlefield today. The others reassured him he had made the correct decision because that soldier most definitely would have left and brought back an entire army with him. Of course, Hack is no stranger to killing martial soldiers, but we're trying to be better. We're trying to build a better world away from war and death. We ended up getting our very first harvest of rice, which was perfect as it would sustain us, but not only that, when the tribe comes for a parley, we will also offer it to them as a show of good faith. Now, the rice is all well and good, but it's not going to do us very good to be eating raw rice, as that's going to taste like dog shit. So we had Sherd build us a beautiful fueled cooking table, that way we can actually cook it into meals. Lucky for us, we just so happen to have Carol, who used to be quite the cook back in her pirate days. She was throwing together some shrimp fried rice for us, minus the shrimp, so just fried rice. Sometime later, we ended up getting the Friendlies who came to parley from the Blue Stork Toxer, I believe is how you pronounce that? Probably not. Anyhow, though, they have came to discuss our recognition by the coalition of Thromboian tribes. The Blue Stork Toxer is actually a very ancient and traditional tribe with an ancestral claim to the planet of Degum. Sherd spoke with the tribe's representative known as Notris. She explained that her father was a great chieftain and that she claims to be our chieftain here, and this is her tribe. Of course, explaining that she would love recognition from the coalition of tribes, and to let her know essentially what the price of that recognition would be. Notris simply explained that he would go home and speak with the tribal elders and come back with their response. Of course, before he was able to depart, Sherd explained that she was aware of the issues they are facing with a famine currently, and wished to give him a show of good faith, a gift. So of course, Sherd instructed Hack to hand over the rice to the representative. It wasn't much, but it was something. It would at least feed a few Thromboians for a short period of time. Shortly thereafter, the representative and his tribal escorts decided to leave and go and speak with their elders about our tribe's recognition. So now, of course, we must patiently await their response. Of course, in the meantime, though, while patiently awaiting their response, we will be working on the logging camp to try and fix it up so it's a bit more suitable. We began working on a barracks, so as we get more tribespeople, they'll have a nice place to sleep and lounge lounge around. We also began working on Carol's room. We thought it fitting that she should have her father Birch's old room. As she lay there in her bed, she found it crazy to think that so many years ago her father lay in this very same room, as she and other members of her family and the pirate camp plotted against him to overtake the logging empire. But in other less depressing news, it would appear that Hack and his silver tongue have somehow managed to woo Sherd, and the two of them have become, well, lovers. But then again, I guess I would also be swooed by a rootin' tootin' impid cowboy like Hack himself. I mean, he is a very suave lad, and to be honest, I'm extremely excited about this, honestly, because I can't wait to see what an impid Thromboian child hybrid looks like, assuming they have kids. Since Hack and our chieftain are now in love, and the two of them are going to need a place to stay together, we decided to build them a beautiful double bed in their own cozy little cottage. It seems fitting to me, at least, that we would give the chieftain her very own home as well. We've also done this for Carol, but mostly because she led us to the logging empire, where, you know, her father once was the leader, so it seemed fair. And might I just say that the two of them sure do look mighty cozy together in their new little home, and the new life that they're building together. It's all wonderful and beautiful and quite frankly just fantastic. In the meantime, of course, though, we're going to need somewhere to put all of our weapons, apparel, our goods, and things like that. So one of the old buildings, we kind of refurbished it a bit and started building some shelves in there to use as a storage building. With things going so well and the logging empire's transition into becoming the farming empire also going really well, Carol asked the others if they could have a bit of a memorial, a celebration for her father. They decided to create some paper lanterns in his memory. Though the two of them never got along and Birch was a horrible person by most standards, she still loved him. And of course, though Birch's demise at the hands of the pirates that Carol was once a part of, does make her feel quite guilty, she of course still cherishes the memory of her father. A few days later, we had a small group of rebels passing through our territory. We didn't interact with them at all, we just let them pass by. As mentioned, we are not interested in getting into these wars unless it is to save and protect Thromboians, or of course any other innocent lives. Now shortly after this, we ended up having the representative from the Blue Stork tribe come back with an answer from the elders. They met us in the center of town, and Sherd began discussing with another of the representatives about exactly what the elders wanted us to do in order to get their recognition. The representative explained that the elders stated they would only recognize our newly founded tribe if we done things in what they called the ancient way. This is a very barbaric tournament where one of our members must fight one of their members to the death. They have most likely chosen this as their preferred method, as they're most likely not okay with our Thromboian tribe including a human and an impid. Nonetheless, though, Sherd, as our chieftain, has accepted this offer and offered herself as the gladiator. She will defeat one of their members in combat to the death. Killut was chosen for the opposing side, as he was the largest and strongest member they had among them. During this tournament, the only weapons that were allowed were thrumbo horns. The two gladiators would wield one each and fight each other. The two of them came at each other as fast as lightning. Luckily, though, Sherd ended up getting the upper hand and took him down. Hack was a bit distraught seeing his new lover and chieftain act in such a way. However, the representative from the Blue Stork tribe was most happy with the result, and he was very proud to now officially recognize the Sherdish tribe as an official Thromboian tribe. They would now leave with their colleague's body to go and announce to their elders about the successful tournament. At last, our hard work has paid off, and we are now recognized as an official tribe by the Blue Stork tribe as well as the coalition of Thromboian tribes. Our next step and or goal at this point is going to be to attempt to join the coalition. If we can join the coalition forces, that will give us more and more manpower as well as resources to attempt to feed the hungry and downtrodden of this planet. At some point, of course, if we are able to join the coalition of tribes, if they give us that great honor, we may also have the opportunity to become a leader of the coalition of Thromboian tribes, meaning that Sherd would be heading the entire coalition of all Thromboian tribes on the planet of Degum, which essentially would make her the leader of all Thromboians. Yes, of course, these are extremely ambitious dreams that no doubt she will share with Hack tonight as they lie together in their cozy cottage. But of course, only time will tell if these dreams will become a reality. Elsewhere, a large group of martial soldiers traverse through the No-Quan Desert. Their mission is to research an ancient Thromboian structure with some very thick walls, hence why they brought along their tank. All of the soldiers are heavily armed since most ancient Thromboian structures from their old civilizations are infested with massive insectoid creatures that are extremely dangerous. However, these soldiers are currently unaware that what they will find within this ancient structure is much, much worse and much, much more dangerous than any insectoid creature. The soldiers began setting up camp for the night just before preparing their tank to blow a hole directly through the wall of the ancient structure. After doing so, the commander ordered his soldiers to enter the ancient building. The sights within were like nothing they had found in any other Thromboian structures thus far. There appeared to be an altar-like shrine in the middle of the room with several sarcophagi all over the room. 4 braziers with a bluish-purple flame illuminated the entire room. One would be forgiven for thinking that these braziers were powered by some magical force that has kept this flame going, especially since it appears that these have been burning for thousands of years. However, it appears that they are actually powered by a constant source of chem fuel being pumped into them. We found several skeletons lying around the room as well, with a very strange armor that appears to be damaged in several ways. It was like nothing that we had seen before. The sarcophagi in the room were all empty, except for one in the back that seemed to remain closed. The commander ordered one of his soldiers to assist him in taking off the top of the tomb so that they may investigate the body that lie within. This would turn out to be a horrific mistake. Hello everyone, thank you ever so much for making it to the end of this video, for sticking it out with me throughout this episode. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I just want to sit around and talk for a moment kind of about the plans that we have here, and maybe discuss a little bit of the lore here with the Farming Empire series. So one of the big things I want to talk about with the lore, I suppose, with this series, and just with, the shared universe overall, the coalition of Thromboian tribes, essentially what we're doing there is kind of showing that all of the tribes, they're all separate tribes and whatnot, but they have formed a coalition really just to stay safe from the rebels, the marshals in general, and that sort of thing. Even though the rebels are somewhat friendly with the Thromboians, that wasn't always the case, right? We would always be at war with Thromboians on and off. Several different tribes, we would trade with them and different things like that. Each settlement would be, different, whether or not they were hostile or friendly towards Thromboians. So, to kind of keep themselves safe, the tribes have formed a coalition. They're not one big tribe. They are several different states, if you will, provinces of Thromboian tribes, essentially, and they just kind of have an agreement together, kind of like a defensive pact, if you will, that kind of thing. Something else, that I kind of want to show throughout this series, and we kind of showed it a tiny bit in the end of the Mining Empire series with the Thromboian tribe that was bombed by Hawthorne. We haven't really shown a lot of civilian life, so I hope to do that throughout this series, especially since we're going to try to focus on, feeding civilians and essentially taking care of civilians throughout this series. So I want to try and show more of civilian life and just kind of like, not necessarily their day-to-day lives, but just show that not the entire planet is at war, right? So we did show that a little bit in the beginning of this episode 1 for the Farming Empire. You saw civilians walking around throughout Greenstown. you know, hack playing poker with civilians and things like that. You saw people sitting around and stuff. So that's kind of the day-to-day lives of, you know, people. They have jobs and things like that. Life goes on even as a war is going on in the background, and sometimes civilians are getting caught up in that war, unfortunately, just like in real life, of course. And if you're new here, or I guess even if you're not new here and you just were unaware, I love your suggestions and I love your ideas, so please, if you have any of those, put them in the comment section down below. I try to use as many ideas and suggestions and stuff from you guys as possible, and of course, if I do that, I will credit you in the video with your comment or something like that if I can. You know, and even if we don't use your idea specifically, your idea may influence me to do something else that we find to be really fun and interesting in the series. So you guys don't be don't be shy, man. Share that shit down in the comment section down below. I'm all about trying to, you know, do what you guys want, what the audience wants, what's the, you know, community wanting at that time. So yeah, be sure to leave that stuff in the comment section if you want to. I think that's wonderful. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed, though. I love you ever so much, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.